Oh, yeah, we're here again. Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome to your Friday, and yes, I'll do the thing. The thing everybody wants. The thing you're all really here for. Gambling. Initiate the gambling. Sheesh. Sheesh. We know what you're really here for. And also smash the like button. I gotta say that more. I don't really say that. Because like I hate it. Probably in the same way most of you hate it. But probably should just hit the like button. Give it a little tap. Probably should say that more. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Hey, if you're watching on, I think we're still doing the multi-streaming. I think we're still getting a little let me click this over to the multi thing. I think we're on Twitch. I think we're on Kick. I think we're on Twitter. I think we're on all of these platforms. So if you're watching on any of those platforms, what's up? The main crew is kind of over on YouTube. That's where we've been streaming for a long time. But yes, we are streaming on these other platforms. So check that out. And also, it's crazy because I guess we just got affiliate on Twitch or whatever. That's like, you can get paid now on Twitch. Is that what that is? I guess I should do that, right? I should do the affiliate thing. So if I do the affiliate things, and you guys would probably know more about this than me. Josh, what happened with Rebel Moon says Dragon LOL over on Twitch. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Don't worry. We're gonna get into that. So okay, help me out here. So if I enable all the things on Twitch, then I can get that sweet Twitch Prime money, right? Is that how that is? Is that how that works? The sweet Twitch Prime money. And you might be like, what is this sweet Twitch Prime money? Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Actually, you know what's funny about that? Let me just ask you that, like, legitimately. I'm actually really interested. Again, because most of you guys are on YouTube, right? And now that we're doing the multi-stream thing, there's no like stream up there. So we like to kind of just chill at the beginning of the stream, let people gather, let the stream get pushed out there, okay? But serious question here, chat. When I say the Twitch Prime sub or the Twitch Prime money, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, do you guys even know what I'm talking about? Logan Paul and KSI introduced Twitch Prime? No! That's not what I'm talking about. Yes, obviously. Well, yeah, you do, because you know things. Quantum Mania better than Rebel Moon? No! I do. No idea. Nope. Hell yeah, bro. Josh multi-streams of madness. Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'll explain this. This is kind of fascinating, and I wonder how... This is crazy. Okay, so here we go. On YouTube, right? We do the memberships, right? We've got like one for $5 a month, and we got the Prime tier at $10 a month. And you know, you get all kind of cool benefits and stuff for that, right? Well, they have the same thing on Twitch. I think they call it subs, though. I think they call it subscribers over there. Okay. But maybe you didn't know is if you have Amazon Prime, which everybody has Amazon Prime. It's like 200. I think they've almost got as many people that have Netflix have Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure. Okay. If you have Amazon Prime, you get to give a free sub to a person each month. Okay. And they actually get paid for it. It's not like on YouTube where like you don't actually get paid for that. You get paid for it. So basically there's like essentially money each month that you get for free just by being a Amazon Prime member that you can give to a creator. Isn't that crazy? So we're going to make a big push for all the, because the money's just, a lot of you probably, it's going nowhere. You're not doing anything with it. It costs you literally nothing, and it'll help the channel. And I wanted to give it to, yes, the nerdy, yes, Kendall, 10 points to Gryffindor. Absolutely. Give me your free money. Give it to me. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with your free money? Come on, man. Give me the free money. So, look, well, you can't do it right now because I haven't actually done the thing yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to do it. And then we'll do like a call to action every stream, maybe several times, and get that free money. Woo! You already gave it to Kai? Damn. I don't know that he needs it anymore. I think he's good. I think Kai might be all right. I like that guy too, by the way. I like that dude. I thought the Nicki Minaj stream was such a cool idea and so funny. And Kai's a good dude though. He's good for the space, 100%. Okay, so yeah, that's sort of the first thing that's going on. Look, second thing, we'll do a little bit of show notes stuff. Amaranth needs it more. Yeah, definitely, 100%. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so show notes, ladies and gentlemen. It's the first of all, it's the holidays. Oh wait, hang on now. Yeah, so it's the holidays. Happy holidays to you. And I wanted to kind of go through some of the plans for the holiday streams and whatnot. So I kind of made some decisions over the past couple of days and thought about this. So what we're going to do is tomorrow, if you are a Nerdventure member, we're doing Saturday morning cartoons tomorrow, but we are going to be watching the Star Wars holiday special. I've never seen it. A lot of people are like, it's horrible and you will like Kenobi after you see it. That would be shocking. I don't know if that'll happen, but we're going to do that tomorrow morning. What we're going to do, though, we're going to do it at 11 a.m. We're not going to do it at 10 a.m. We're going to do it at 11 a.m. because I got to wake up and work on another video, which will drop. Okay, so tomorrow at 11 a.m., if you are a Nerdventure, if you are a paying member, you can come by that stream. It'll pop up for you guys, but there'll be links on the Discord and whatnot too. And even if you're not going to stay and watch it with us, you might want to come in just for a little bit to see how I'm handling it. Maybe at the end of the stream to see what my take is. Yeah, I've never seen it, man. I've seen some clips here and there, and well, yeah, so that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. That's gonna be really cool. Okay, next week, I'm only gonna be streaming Monday and Wednesday. No stream on Friday. I'm going to take Friday off for the holidays. But Friday night, if you have been a member for 6 months or more, if you are a Diamond member, we are going to do a Christmas-themed Diamond Lounge stream. We do a lot of Diamond Lounge streams throughout the year. These are really fun streams where we have a little bit of drink, we have a little bit of smoke, we talk a lot of shit. Some tea comes out. What happens in the Diamond Lounge stays in the Diamond Lounge. And they're really fun. People really like them. We make you wait 6 months so that you're less likely to cancel me. And I thought it would be really cool to do a holiday themed one. So like Elisa's going to make some holiday cocktails. And we'll kind of share in that cheer. She's going to hop on stream with me a little bit as well. And so that should be fun. So that's kind of the general plan. And then, of course, no stream on Monday. Monday's Christmas. And then we'll get back to it on Wednesday of next week. I might not do the day after Christmas, I might not do a Nerdventure stream. But to be honest with you, I probably will. Honestly, I will probably want to show you guys all the cool presents that I got and know what you guys got. Complain that Liam got all the good presents. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's kind of the general plan over the next couple of weeks for all of that, because I know we were discussing that on Monday and Tuesday, and we were like, okay, so when do we want to do Saturday morning cartoons? When do we want to do the Diamond Lounge? That's what I came up with. Ooh, yeah. We are going to do the Rebel Moon watch party next week as well. Ooh, good call. So that'll be the last public stream for the holidays, will be the Rebel Moon watch party, which we are still absolutely going to do, regardless of the Rotten Tomatoes score. Did you get him any Rebel Moon presents? No. But maybe I will. Okay, so that's the general plan. As far as today, guys, I am going to try to do a couple of call-ins later on in the stream. I want to talk about, obviously, the Spider-Man news and how I think it really seems like to me that Kevin Feige is going to lean heavily on Tom Holland Spider-Man to hard carry the next couple of years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm actually excited about it. So I wanted to go over, there's some new reports about Ant-Man and about Daredevil being in Spider-Man 4. I was told some other things about Spider-Man 4, so we're going to talk about that. After that, I want to talk about why I'm really worried about 2024 for Star Wars and Marvel, despite Deadpool. So, like, a little bit of, positivity with what I think is coming and Spider-Man. And I really do think that they could turn this around right into some doomsayer. Oh my God, 2024 might be awful. Matthew, welcome to the Nerd Vengers, man. You are a Nerd Venger now. And then, of course, we have to talk about the Rebel Moon review. So we're going to do that last because I will probably be very triggered. But I also thought it would be kind of fun throughout the stream to kind of check with you guys and ask, where are we at with this Rotten Tomato score? Because it opened up to 9%, which was pretty bad. Chat, where are we at right now? I don't want to look. 17? Almost double. Let's go. 17%, 19%. Let's go. Let's get there. So, yeah. Rebel Moon, dude. I've been telling you all about Rebel Moon. And, this is one of those situations, and I've been through these situations, before, where my personal feelings, my personal outlook on things doesn't necessarily jive with what, the overall greater public thinks and believes. It's very rare that I'm wrong. You know what I mean? It almost feels wrong to say that I'm wrong. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just very rarely wrong. You know what I mean? Like just really just spot on, good at what I do, incredible analysis, prognosticate like I'm fucking Nostradamus. Like it's crazy. Like I don't like to brag. I don't like to brag, ladies and gentlemen, but like. I've got a gift, So occasionally, every now and then, I get something wrong. And this might be one of those situations where I don't know. Would you say I maybe overhyped Rebel Moon, chat? I mean, is that maybe fair? Is that a fair? I don't know. Like, what do you think, chat? Like, would you use the word overhyped? What am I going to do if it sucks? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now you only made one video? That's true. I only made one video, but I did kind of gas it up on, Twitter and on the streams and stuff for a while. So, yeah. Critics don't mean anything. I mean, I don't know that I agree. I think it's a metric. It could be the case that the critics are not in a line with the audience, for sure. That happens a lot. When's the last time that happened? Where was it? The Super Mario Bros. Movie? Like, real talk. Let me ask you guys: did you like the Super Mario Bros. Movie? Did y'all like that movie? The Super Mario Bros. Chris Pratt. You know what I mean? You ever seen that? Did you like it? The last good Zack movie was 300. See, and I knew it. I was like, this is what you're getting today. This is what you're gonna get. There's a ton of little like Zack Snyder jabs and a little bit of like twisted in, and then everybody's gonna be so fucking happy when I read all these bull crap reviews. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the Super Mario Brothers was kind of panned on Rotten Tomatoes, right? What was its Rotten Tomatoes score? Somebody help me out, because I have Rotten Tomatoes open to Rebel Moon and I just can't help. I don't want to look. Yeah. Yeah, so I think a lot of people didn't like that as far as the critics were concerned, and the audiences really, really liked it. And of course, it was a huge movie, very successful, right? And they're making more. So, you never know. I will say, though, even from when Rebel Moon was seen in Brazil, and just from that moment on, there was this kind of sense out there of maybe not the smash out masterpiece like thing that we wanted it to be. And I've kind of also been told by some people that the second one is really good, and there's a little bit of weirdness as like what was put into the first one as opposed to the second one. So a little bit of that Dune energy, which like I really like Dune, the first movie, but there are a lot of people that were like, yo, that shit was boring. That was like a real snooze fest. And even Dennis had said that he wanted to kind of bring more action and more excitement in the second part, because I think that's even something that like Warner Brothers, looking back at the whole thing, was like, you know what, it could have been a little bit more, like it's really atmospheric, it's like really sets the stage for what's to come in part 2, and I think you got a little bit of that going on with Rebel Moon as well. So we'll check that out. Well, that's Adam. God damn it, Adam. Is his name not Dennis? What do you want me to mispronounce his name for the 40 millionth time? Holy shit. Holy shit. Can we keep it together? Can we keep the class together for one stream? If Rebel Moon sucks, it will make KK look like a genius for passing on it. God damn it, Lightning. Somebody get him out of here. No, you don't say that. Freaking buttholes. Okay, so yeah, let's get into some Spider-Man news, huh? Let's do a little Spider-Man news. I think that's everything I was supposed to talk about before the stream started, I think. Okay, so let's talk a little Spider-Man. First of all, let me ask you guys a question, man. What do you guys think of Tom Holland Spider-Man? You guys like Tom Holland Spider-Man? Chat, do you like Tom Holland as Spider-Man? Out of all the actors and actresses that are currently in the MCU right now, where would you rank Tom Holland Spider-Man? Yeah. I think a lot of people like Tom Holland Spider-Man, dude. You know? And I think you can also look at his movies and just say, wow, pretty successful. You know what I mean? Hey, thank you, CC Ryder. Hope you're doing well, man. I'll go over that again when we get into the Q&A, but I appreciate it. Close under RDJ. Yeah, and I would say the RDJ stuff, his scenes with RDJ in Civil War and, the ending of Endgame and stuff. He's been a part of like a lot of big moments. And I will also say that I think in a somewhat unique scenario, I guess in the last couple of years of Marvel, the Spider-Man No Way Home movie is awesome. It's very bombastic. It's very crazy with the multiverse, but it's also anchored in a very good arc for Tom Holland. And I think his performance in several moments of that movie and in several moments in the past, like, dude, the whole "I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark," that was like an improvised sort of line, right? And he's just delivered some really great emotional beats. I would argue probably better than 90% of the current cast that we have running around in spandex doing these movies, right? So obviously they have something really great there with Tom Holland Spider-Man. There's been a lot of questions since that movie, since No Way Home came out, about what the future was going to be like for Tom Holland, what the future was like for Sony, what the hell's going on. Tom Holland, you know, a lot of us at the time, I remember a lot of these discussions and the rumors coming out about negotiations and this, that, second, and the third, and we all kind of agreed, you've got to pay Tom Holland like RDJ-esque money. He deserves it. Just look at the numbers, look at the way that people gravitate towards this guy. Big deal, huge draw, very successful franchise, connections to characters we love. It's like we're really lucky that we even have Tom Holland as Spider-Man, considering where Marvel is at right now. So yesterday, Daniel RPK released on his Patreon some updates about Spider-Man 4, which, as we know, and by the way, I will say, like, and I told Daniel I'd say that. I told Daniel I'd say this, but you know what? It is true. If you want to, man, like Daniel is obviously one of the best scoopers in the game, and you get the stuff from his Patreon. You get it from the source. You don't have to see how people can misinterpret it online. You can get it from the source. You can interact with Daniel on his Patreon. So I do think for those of us that are really, really, really into the scoops and the news and stuff like that, I do think Daniel's Patreon is good. So there you go, Daniel. You can't be mad at me anymore. Jesus. Okay. Now moving forward, Daniel said yesterday a couple of really interesting things about Spider-Man 4. He also told me some interesting things in the DMs. So I think we all know, before we get into exactly what was in the report yesterday, I think we all know Spider-Man 4 is this huge deal. The rumors about it already are crazy. A lot of older rumors had it connected to Daredevil, the Born Again show, to Kingpin, to this idea of, you know, Wilson Fisk becoming the mayor of New York, a little bit of Devil's Reign maybe going on in the MCU. But those are like older rumors, right? That seemed to be what the ideas were for that and connecting it to Daredevil, right? But then more recently, I want to say within the past 4 months, there have been some scoops about multiversal elements in Spider-Man 4. And the fact, I think, that Spider-Man 4 is really a stepping stone to Secret Wars, and it's really important for what they're trying to do with the story with Secret Wars, okay? So with all of that context, I think, you know, one of the things that's kind of confusing for people like myself that follow this stuff was like, okay, so, you know, I'm getting street vibes. You want the movie to have the identity of like the friendly neighborhood spider, because the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home puts Peter Parker, the 616 Peter Parker, Tom Holland, in the spot that many fans have wanted him to be in for a long time. He's like actually Spider-Man now. He's poor. He's living in that shitty apartment. He has his own suit that he built. Nobody knows who he is. He's not this big celebrity. He's just trying to fight crime in his neighborhood, right? So that's really cool. And there's this dissonance between like, okay, I want a street level, grounded Spider-Man. Oh, but also we kind of need to set up the multiverse. And by the way, Tom Holland might be like the Anakin Skywalker of this whole thing. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So how do we make sense of this, right? There's dissonance there. I think the report yesterday helps actually bridge those ideas and make it make sense. So the report yesterday was that in the current version of the script for Spider-Man 4, Daredevil will be in the movie and have a sizable role. Okay, a sizable role. That's really interesting. But the next part of the report is like kind of wild, because Daniel goes on to kind of say Daredevil's not the Nick Fury or the Doctor Strange or the Iron Man of this movie. There's an archetype that's been set up with Peter Parker in his movies in the MCU. He's had Iron Man as a mentor. He's had Nick Fury as a mentor, which was really Talos or whatever, but you know, you get the idea. And then you have Doctor Strange. He has these interactions with these really like varsity level Marvel characters in each one of his films. But the way Daniel said it was like, oh, that's not Daredevil though. So Daredevil has this sizable role, but he's not that guy. Daniel goes on to say, they want that though. They want another one of those type characters. And right now it's Ant-Man. Okay. So that's wild. So I guess, you know, I have all kinds of thoughts and I have all kinds of, connections and ways that I think that makes sense. But what do you guys think of that? First of all, just base level here, considering a lot of the other stuff we heard, Tom Holland Spider-Man 4, Ant-Man, and Daredevil. What do you think? Like, what's your reaction to that? Bruh. No. L. Ant-Man flies multiverse, not Daredevil. I mean, yes, that would make sense. Ant-Man, weak! Thought, sauce? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know about that one, Chief. It would bring things together well. Rather Hawkeye? Damn! Trash? The hell? Sounds really fun, man. MCU is cooked? God damn it! Rather Bucky? Dude, I mean, I'd rather like OG Bucky. I don't know if I want like sad-ass fucking depressed Bucky from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but you know, that's a whole nother discussion. Based on comics, it should be DD. Yeah. So, okay. It looks as though we have mixed feelings within Nerdvengers Tower. It seems as though you guys are a little bit mixed on that idea. And look, I'll be real with you guys. When I first heard it, I kind of had the same reaction where I was like, fucking Ant-Man, dude. Like, and it's not Scott Lang's fault. It's not Paul Rudd's fault, bro. But Ant-Man Quantumania is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, I want to, I get irrationally angry when I even think about that movie. Yeah, so I was like, God damn it, dude. Like, I really don't like that. Okay? But I think that it's the case that Ant-Man, Paul Rudd, obviously has this huge connection to the multiverse, to Kang the Conqueror, the potential of him and all those people coming there. There's a lot of interesting things that you could do from a story perspective with the Scott Lang character in a Spider-Man setting. Okay? So when I first heard it, I was in the same boat, man, where I was like, oh, Ant-Man, like, that's rough, okay? But I kind of think, like, real talk, guys, I kind of think Feige is going to use Tom Holland in a similar way that he used RDJ. And I think Tom Holland is about to go on a tour of redeeming Phase 4 characters and Phase 5 characters and really hard carrying the MCU. Okay? So, again, part of this has to do with the fact that there are major rumors. Okay? There are major rumors out there that Tom Holland is the central focus of the next two Avengers movies. Okay? Now, a long time ago, I'd say maybe a year ago, maybe more than a year ago, the stories first broke that Tom Holland Spider-Man was going to be the lead of Kang Dynasty. Do you guys remember when that happened? Throw a 1 into the chat if you do. Oh, and yes, by the way, just because I saw it in the chat, we may get a verdict in the Jonathan Majors trial sometime today. It would be wild if it happened during the stream. Yeah, that'd be wild. We'll see, man. That trial, I have no idea what to expect. The whole thing for the past 9 months has been, oh, he's totally fucked. Oh my God, he might be a horrible person. Wait a minute, what? This bitch did what? What? He's completely innocent. This is crazy. Like, it's literally been like that for like 9+ months. I want it to be over. So maybe we'll get that sometime today. Okay. Now, getting back to the Spider-Man of this all, Tom Holland, lead of Kang Dynasty. Well, it seems like it's even bigger than that. it seems like it's even bigger than that, because just a couple of months ago, maybe within the last month actually, My Time to Shine Hello said Tom Holland Spider-Man is going to be the focus of the next two Avengers movies. So it seems like the kid might be more than just the lead and focus of Kang Dynasty, but he might be like one of the people that survived the end of the Kang Dynasty and is also a big part of Secret Wars, okay? There's this other element here, which is still kind of fuzzy. We don't fully understand it, but there's like a lot of rumors about the TVA going around in the multiverse and sort of saving certain people, certain chosen characters, certain prime heroes, certain people from each universe, okay? And we don't fully know what that even means. Apparently that's what Wolverine is, Hugh Jackman Wolverine in the Deadpool movie. It may well be the case that the Fantastic Four are also like this, because the rumors are they are going to come from a different universe that will probably be destroyed and they will be brought over via the TVA, maybe, who knows. But it's always like, whenever these people are talking about that, they always come back to Tom Holland Spider-Man. And I remember there was some people saying like Tom Holland Spider-Man is the chosen one from 616, and he's like really, really important to defeating Kang or setting up the next universe or whatever, right? So again, a lot of this stuff's like vague, and I think we'll get some answers in Deadpool 3. But Tom Holland and Spider-Man, it just seems like this is a super big deal for Marvel. I actually have a video coming out tomorrow that actually talks about how the entire MCU downfall of the last couple of years is because of Tom Holland Spider-Man. And in this video, one of the things we talk about is, like, do you guys remember in 2019 when Sony yanked Spider-Man back? Well, more recently, in that Reign of Marvel Studios book, Joanna Robinson talked about how Feige essentially knew that he was retiring some players. He had some varsity players hanging the jersey up. And he knew he was going to need new faces, okay? So you heard this, like, the baby face or the faces of the thing, you know, right? So before, you probably look like RDJ, obviously, Hemsworth, Evans, you know, those are your, and Natasha, you know, those are like your faces, the faces of the MCU. And Feige knew he needed new ones. And in Joanna Robinson's book, she talks explicitly about how Tom Holland Spider-Man, Captain America 2, or rather Captain America and Black Panther, at the time, those were the new faces. That's what Feige wanted to do. He was building the entire thing towards Secret Wars around Black Panther, Tom Holland Spider-Man, and Captain Marvel. And here's what's really crazy, guys. How many of you, and don't pretend, only put the one into the chat if you were actually there, okay? How many of you guys were there in 2019 when we were breaking down SDCC and you remember? You didn't even hear what I said, Tosuke. How many of you guys were there? Oh, Jesus Christ. And how many of you remember when I said there's no way that's the whole Phase 4 slate? Do you remember this? You guys are wild. Do you remember it? Do you remember it? I was like, there's no way that's all of Phase 4. And I think there was stuff that was left off of that slate. Well, we actually had reports over the last couple of years pretty much confirm that, okay? Now, use your imagination here for a second, okay? I remember everything you say. Well, that's a little scary. Okay. At the end of the SDCC announcement in 2019, Feige name drops Black Panther 2, and he name drops Captain America 2. He doesn't name drop Spider-Man. He doesn't talk about Spider-Man at all. But he name drops them subtly at the end of that. Now we know now, especially because Black Panther 2 was the end cap of Phase 4. Captain Marvel, right? Sorry. What did I say? Captain America? Shit. Yeah, Captain Marvel. The point is, guys, like, I believe at the time he was going to announce those films and he was going to announce some stuff with Spider-Man because I really believe he was going to RDJ Tom Holland Spider-Man. I personally believe that Tom Holland Spider-Man was going to be a part of Wakanda Forever. I personally believe that Tom Holland Spider-Man was going to be a part of Captain Marvel 2. Now, I actually have some reasons for this. There are interviews where Shuri, and I am blanking on her name. God damn it, why am I blanking on her name? The actress that plays Shuri. There are interviews where she talks about being buds with Tom Holland. She talks about, like, wanting to share the screen with Tom Holland Spider-Man. Do you guys remember this? Letitia, yeah. Do you guys remember this? There were, like, I remember so clearly. They were, like, teasing it, talking about this, that, and it seemed like there was something there. Yeah, she had talked about it, okay? On top of that, they set up connections to Captain Marvel and Peter in Endgame with the scene, hello, Peter Parker, do you have something for me? And all that sort of stuff. On top of that, Peter Parker talks about Captain Marvel in Far From Home. Okay. On top of that, I think the Miss Marvel character is the Spider-Man replacement in the Captain Marvel 2 movie. They're practically the same character in a lot of ways. Like they're that same. They bring that same energy. Okay. So the more I thought about it, and the more I was like, he didn't announce them in 2019. They both get remade. And of course, obviously, you have friggin' the unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman, right? Like, of course, that happened. And that sucks. And that altered the plan. But I think Sony altered the plan first. And I think I just remember so clearly at the time, when Far From Home made over $1 billion, there was all these reports that came out because the rumor was if the movie didn't crack $1 billion, Sony would take the license back and they would stop this deal that they were currently doing, right? And I remember after it made $1 billion, we were all like, yo, let's go. You couple that with Joanna Robinson talking about how they were the faces, all these different things. I mean, it begins to make more sense as to why Tom Holland calls Bob Iger drunk on a weekend. This all begins to make a little bit more sense. The guy went from being the next RDJ to Sony being like, well, what if you were the next like Tom Hardy Venom instead? Or like, what if you're the next Andrew Garfield instead? Like they wanted to like kind of just grab him up and put him up there like that, right? A lot of this stuff in hindsight makes sense. It's also interesting because it could explain why so much of Marvel has felt like filler and has felt incongruent over the past couple of years. Because Feige's whole plan rested on Tom Holland Spider-Man being that guy, being the one to carry all of that sort of stuff. Right? Now, what I was told behind the scenes, man, was this Spider-Man 4 movie, they're throwing everything into this thing. They're doing a Deadpool 3. They're doing a Spider-Man No Way Home. They want this thing to be like a $250 million movie. And they need it to slap. They need it to directly tie into Kang Dynasty. They need it to accomplish a lot. So this Spider-Man 4 movie is a huge freaking deal for them. John Watts might not come back. That's kind of weird. I know they want him to, but this is like another... I mean, at this point, the dude might just not be down with like working with Disney, especially after like Skeleton Crew and everything. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But what I know is from Marvel's perspective and from Feige's perspective, they want this movie to be another one of those like just bangers, something absolutely epic, something crazy. We're not going to get a Captain Marvel 2 here. We're not getting what's the villain's name in that movie? Dar-Ben? Yeah, we're not getting Dar-Ben, guys, okay? They're throwing, like, actual shit we care about and, like, actually crafting this in a way that really matters for Spider-Man 4, right? So, I don't know. When you think about that, and for me personally, like, I'm kind of just convinced that we were in a holding pattern until the Sony thing got worked out and we got, like, a lot of Tom Holland Spider-Man. With Spider-Man 4 and the next two Avengers movies having a heavy focus on Tom Holland Spider-Man, I really think that's the way it's going. And here's the thing. That's a good plan. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not super happy that we had to eat a bunch of shit sandwiches over the past couple of years to wait for this to happen, but it's not a bad plan. It's actually a pretty good plan. And I also think Tom Holland as Spider-Man could be a character that could literally elevate every project he's in. He could make us really care about some of these other characters. And dude, like, hard carry on Tom Holland, I think it's a good move. I think it could work. What do you think? What do you think, chat? Madam Web is going to carry the MCU. Damn it! Sounds good? Noise. Will he make me care about Agatha? God damn it. Okay. Can you just wait for the next segment? We're still on the positive segment. See this last thing on there? I'm hopeful. Freaking buttholes. Yeah, I am. Sheesh. I want all female villains. God damn it, chat. Tom can carry the load. Pause. Iron Man couldn't make me care about America Chavez, says Richie. Okay, that's a take. Resting your entire franchise on a character you don't own is definitely a choice. You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And the other thing that's wild about this is you couple that with the Jonathan Majors thing too, right? Because, like, I can see the logic. Like, imagine you're Kevin Feige, okay? And you feel on top of the world, endgame, boom, bada boom, you're good. You're like, dude, I've got Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. I've got Brie Larson as Captain America, who just made $1 billion. He probably ignored all the hater videos and everything, right? And then I've got Tom Holland. I mean, holy shit, Tom Holland Spider-Man. We just made the biggest movie Sony Pictures has ever made in the history of movies. No Way Home, or rather, Far From Home, was bigger than any Bond movie. It was their highest grossing movie of all time. It was absolutely epic. Did I say Captain America again? That's your fault, chat. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it's your fault. So he's probably feeling on top of the world. Okay. And then a week before San Diego Comic-Con, Sony comes over, kicks him in the shin, takes their toy, and goes home. Holy shit, bro. That must have been like, what? You know what I mean? And he kind of puts everything on hold. Pandemic happens. Everything gets shuffled around. The unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman. For whatever reason, the only solutions they seem to come up with is just, put a chick in it. And you fast forward years later, and damn, bro, like, shit is bad. Like, it's bad. And even some of the people I was talking to yesterday, we were all kind of in agreement of like, dude, this shit is bad, bro. Things are bad. And Deadpool 3 is going to be awesome, and hopefully it really turns it around. But if Deadpool 3 underperforms, stick a fork in it, bro. Like, just we're cooked. Like, we're cooked. And I'll ride this thing till the wheels come off. But Marvel is really in danger of, like, going the way of, like, Star Wars and eventually the way of, like, Star Trek. Which sucks and is sad. But is also real. So, it's a rough one. I think that he's had a lot to deal with, but I also think if they can execute on this plan, if they can execute with these great characters, I mean, dude, Spider-Man is fucking awesome, bro. And Tom Holland Spider-Man is great. Wolverine, we've got some good shit coming, right? Oh, this is the other thing I was going to say. So you're Kevin Feige, right? And you're in that middle of that storm and you're like, wow, I just lost Black Panther. I just lost Spider-Man. Nobody fucking likes Captain Marvel. And then he sees Jonathan Majors. And he sees the performance. And he goes, you know, maybe it was a mistake to put everything on this Spider-Man character that I didn't own. Maybe I put way too much into Captain Marvel and Black Panther. But you know what? This Jonathan Majors guy, he won't let me down. This Jonathan Majors guy, this Kang villain, we got something here. And then he just goes all in on that. I mean, it's kind of like a Lemony Snicket novel. It's like a series of unfortunate events. It's fucking crazy. Like, homie got real unlucky, bro. Like, that's crazy, dude. You know? He sure can run, though. Yeah, no, he's got legs and stuff, so. Yeah, so I guess the overall point for me, guys, is I'm super optimistic about some of these things and about like the Spider-Man, Daredevil, Ant-Man thing. Like, I really do think that could be great. Tom Holland sort of hard carrying the next two Avengers movies. I think that's great. I think that would be awesome. You know, like shifting into some of these things. We just heard that they're rewriting stuff for Captain America 4. So it's more than just some action scenes. Like, remember when some of the scoopers were trying to tell us, like, and it's all the like really shilly ones too, like Toast and shit, that are like, oh dude, it's just a couple of action sequences, Captain America's gonna be dope or whatever. Well, they're rewriting material for it, yeah, no, in the Hollywood trades, so hopefully they can get that to work. And yeah, you've got your Thunderbolts and stuff like that, but really once you get into like Spider-Man 4 and some of the other unannounced movies getting out, I really do think it's going to be positive, and I think it could be really good. Okay? So that's the first story. Here's the thing, though. The next thing we got to talk about, unfortunately, is I predict, guys, and I'm predicting it right now, and look, I would love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. But I think we had a pretty rough 2023 with Star Wars and Marvel. Would you agree? Agent Llama? God damn it, Agent Llama. Yeah, I think we've had... And also, how have we been live for 15 minutes? What is happening? We were trying to do a quick one. Okay, I think we've had a pretty rough year. We can all agree. Here's the thing, guys. I kind of think 2024 is going to be worse. I actually think 2024 might be worse. So let's talk about this. So let's just look at the shows and movies that are coming out from the nerdy stuff that's going on, right? We'll talk about Marvel stuff. We'll talk about Star Wars stuff. Yeah. So next year, guys, we have Echo dropping very early on in the year. Echo. Somewhere in the beginning part of the year, we're supposed to get X-Men 97. Now, I'll stop for a second and just say X-Men 97 kind of lives on the razor's edge. If X-Men 97 is dope, that's going to go a long way, bruh. That's going to go a long way. If X-Men 97 is anything less than excellent, I think it actually hurts the Marvel brand. It hurts the faith that the fans have in them. It actually could do damage to Deadpool 3, believe it or not. Like, real talk. I think that could happen. So we got X-Men 97. You've got Spider-Man, which was freshman year and now Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and that's supposed to come out at one point, maybe later on in the year. Did they say that the Wakanda show is supposed to come out next year? I don't know if it's supposed to come out next year. Somebody check me on that, but it's possible that comes out as well. And then you sort of have your last show that's supposed to come out next year is Agatha, okay? So we've slowed the pace of live action shows by a lot, but they're Echo and Agatha. Okay? Now let's go. Of course, when it comes to movies for Marvel Studios, the only one that's coming out is Deadpool 3. It's going to be great. Seems awesome. I think a lot of people really like it. But then, unfortunately, you have 3 movies that are supposed to come out next year from Sony. Okay? So you've got Madam Web, Kraven, the animal rights activist, and then Venom 3. Now, I'll say this about Venom 3. It's possible that's actually, like, people are really into that. They recently did, like, one of those lists of, like, most anticipated movies of next year, and Deadpool 3 was number 1. I think Venom was, like, number 4 or 5. People are actually really excited about Venom 3. Venom 3 could slap, and I hope that it does, because it'll really go a long way to kind of help us through next year, right? But there's no guarantees, and we'll just see. We'll just see about that. Now, when you go over to Star Wars land, we're supposed to be getting Bad Batch early on in the year, which I think will be good, but like Bad Batch is not going to move the needle one way or the other. It has really low viewership, and the Filoni fans love it, but like it's not going to be winning new Star Wars fans. It's not like people that thought Ahsoka sucked are going to check out Bad Batch and be like, I feel better. That's not going to happen. Then you have Acolyte. Now, Acolyte could end up being awesome, and wow, does Star Wars need it to be awesome. If it's really, really, really good, and just kind of undeniably fun, so many Jedi, so many dark side users, oh man, it could be really, really cool, but it is a huge question mark. It is a huge question mark, man. Almost everything that the people involved with the show have said makes me want to put my head through a wall. I think everybody, like Leslie Headland, seems she could be completely capable. She could deliver something that I end up praising, but she is cringe with a capital C. Horrible for the fan discussions that are going on right now, and honestly, just kind of annoying. You know what I mean? Like, she's just kind of annoying. So, as far as, like, from a fan discourse perspective, it's not going to help anything. And I think there will be a lot of people ready to absolutely hate and destroy the Acolyte. Because, again, they've kind of made it about more than just the show. Right? So, look, I mean, you guys know, like, I fucking hate the culture war stuff. I hate how much you guys are so obsessed with the culture war stuff. But you also got to admit, it's real. And you are. And so, by the way, throw a 1 into the chat, guys, if you're super ready to hate the Acolyte based on what the people have said that worked on it. And, just throw a 1 into the chat if you kind of already hate the Acolyte. In fact, fuck it, bro. Let's just be real. You guys already hate the Acolyte, don't you? Put a 1 into the chat if you already hate the Acolyte. Show. In fact, we're going to the polls. We're going to the polls. I need more scientific data here. And by the way, if you're watching on Kick, Twitch, or Twitter, we usually just do the polls over on YouTube. So if you want to be involved with the polls, that's what you got to do. Do you already hate the Acolyte show? Because, like, let's not, like, pussyfoot around it, man. Let's not beat around the bush. Like, that's what it is. Like, that's what it is. Like, these people can't figure it out. These studio executives, these suits, they can't figure it out. Well, people already hate your show. Like, they literally already hate your show. Need a don't care opinion? No, bro, because if you don't hate the show, then it's no. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this might be one of the most accurate, best polls I've ever done. Gaslighting? What do you mean gaslighting? What do you mean, bro? How am I gaslighting you? What are you talking about? So we'll let that poll simmer a bit on the stove. But you literally have 45% of the people voting already saying, yeah, I hate the show already. I wouldn't say I hate it, but I think their comments left a bad taste in my mouth going forward. There you go. There you go. Josh kissed me. No, man, I heard that's not a good move, bro. I heard that's not a good move. Like a banana left in the lunchbox, culture war stink is on everything. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. So I think Acolyte is, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. I'm honestly rooting for the show, but it's not going to surprise me at all if, like, it's just about the patriarchy or something. You know what I mean? Like, if its messaging is just like the most heavy-handed shit you've ever seen, people are just going to check out, bro. Like, like, you know what I mean? It's crazy that might actually be what they do. So we'll see, but that's a massive question mark. And then you've got Skeleton Crew. I'm really interested in how Skeleton Crew does. I would imagine it's going to do like Andor season 1 numbers. I don't see why or how it would. Like, just, I've personally not seen anything that excites me about the show. I haven't seen a lot of other fans get excited about the show. We know next to nothing about the show. So, yeah. You know? It feels like the best case for Skeleton Crew is that it kind of just doesn't rock the boat. I doubt it would make things worse. You know what I mean? But it's not going to be winning any ground with disgruntled fans or anything like that, right? And of course, you have no Star Wars movie, right? So you live and breathe by those shows. You live and breathe by those shows. And you have Acolyte and you have Skeleton Crew. And, like, I'm sorry, dude, but, like, just those two, like, that is not a heavy hitting lineup. That is, like, crazy town to me. You know? So, yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty disastrous for Star Wars as well. So again, like, what we're talking about here, guys, is a 2024 that starts with, like, Echo and X-Men 97. And look, is it possible that Echo is going to be really good? I don't think so. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think so. I've heard absolutely horrible things about Echo. I think they took Echo from 6 episodes to 5 episodes. I think they cut the last 2 episodes together. They killed the big ending that was supposed to connect to Daredevil because they don't even know what the fuck they're doing with the Daredevil show right now. I think Echo is going to be ballsack, bro. I'm sorry. That's what I think. Again, I could be wrong, but I think Echo's going to do fucking damage, bro. And especially because well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe not. Then you got X-Men 97. Bro, X-Men 97 is such a big deal, bro. It is a huge deal. Oh my God. I hope they didn't underestimate how much damage it will do if X-Men 97 sucks. Bro, if X-Men 97 sucks, wow. Like, I'm going to write a few emails. You know what I mean? I'm going to write a couple Yelp reviews. This isn't tasty. You know, I didn't enjoy it. So that's going to be, like, potentially major damage. I mean, Spider-Man, spectacular Spider-Man cartoon show with the, like, who gives a shit? Agatha? Oh my God, bro. Agatha? Oh, Jesus. And again, maybe Deadpool 3 is great, but do you think Deadpool 3 is going to be able to, like, carry fan conversation for the entire fucking year in the midst of all of these other shows? Wow. Madam Web? Bro, Madam Web's going to make like $2. It's going to make like $2. Craven, the animal rights activist. No. Venom 3, maybe. Acolyte, maybe. Skeleton Crew, no. Bad Batch, probably be cool. Nobody will care. What do you guys think will happen if 2024 is worse than 2023? Like, do you see where I'm coming from? And what do you think that does? Now, like I was just saying with the Spider-Man story, I actually think 2025 is when it actually probably starts to turn around. 2025 will probably be when we actually get a lot of this good stuff. They're going to remake Captain America. Essentially, maybe they figure out how to make Thunderbolts dope. There's supposed to be a lot of movies in 2025. They'll probably delay some or like spread it out a little bit, right? But there's maybe one thing that could actually save 2024 for Marvel. And look, you guys are going to feel kind of, I'm sure you'll be divided on this, right? But it's hype, okay? And it's San Diego Comic-Con. So with where Marvel is at right now, like basically, guys, things were so bad for Marvel Studios in 2021, I believe, or what was it last year? It was last year in 2022. Like, we're years into phase 4. It's like not popping. Like things are going crazy. The narrative out there online was Marvel doesn't have a plan. They don't even have a plan. They don't have connective tissue. It bothered Kevin Feige so much that he puts up Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty, both coming out in 2025. In 1 year, 2 movies, Secret Wars confirmed. He pulls that off to try to fix the narrative. And by the way, it worked. It bought them like 7 months of good graces of people being more positive and open about all of these different things. And then it fizzled, man. Now, you didn't get that this year, but hype alone cannot sustain a fandom. And I think what's going on right now is Marvel's in this really precarious spot because they keep hyping and it's not actually delivering to the hype. So the hype has a diminishing return. Meaning, like, bro, and we were talking about this a little bit on Discord this morning, right, with some of the people. But it's like, guys, they went hard on the Quantum Mania promotion. They were trying to convince you it was as important as Endgame. They were trying to tell you this is like one of the biggest deals for since Avengers. They were like, yo, this shit is popping. A 6-part event for Secret Invasion. They tried to convince you. They were trying to hype you up to it. Didn't matter. It didn't matter. And then when it came to the Marvels, I mean, they're pulling out archive footage of fucking Thanos. They're trying to put Captain America and Iron Man at the front of the trailers for the Marvels, which has nothing to do with the tone of that movie whatsoever. The hype and the ability for Marvel Studios to like push out the hype to their people is diminishing. So if they can't, and this is why I'm like, you should just cancel Echo. I know you already sent the screeners out. Maybe when you hear enough people come back and say this was awful, you would cancel it. You should cancel that. You should cancel Agatha. You should cancel this. You should cancel that. Cancel it. Because you're going to make people sit through the sludge in your pipeline from ridiculous thinking years ago that you now know is flawed, but you can't cancel it. You're just going to push it out. You're going to feed us shit sandwiches for an entire year while we wait like good little boys and girls for when Marvel's actually good again. I don't know. It would really depend on how hyped and how fire that San Diego Comic-Con announcement is. Now, I say all of this and I'm very negative and I'm like, damn, like, oh, I don't know about this, that, second, and third. And I do believe 2024 might be a tough year for us as nerds. It might be tough, guys. Wow. However, I will be here when San Diego Comic-Con happens and I will get excited about the announcements at San Diego Comic-Con. And I think there's still gas in the tank. I still think, with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, leaning in on that, leaning in on some of these other things, we have the ability, we have the technology to rebuild him. We have it. I'm worried that after a horrible 2023 and a pretty mid-ass 2024, I'm worried that hype that they will try to initiate at San Diego Comic-Con will not reach people the way it used to. And I will tell you, if we have, because this is the potential, like 2023 is like a really, really bad year for Marvel. It's pretty undeniable. Like I've seen so many articles, videos, etc., right? But if Deadpool 3 underperforms, and if the San Diego Comic-Con announcements by Marvel Studios are met with side-eye and sighs, then 2024 will be the year Marvel dies. And maybe it dies from all the wounds it accrued over the past couple of years. But, like, make no mistake, if that happens next year, it's dead. It's dead. It's dead. I'm going to start filling out applications. I'm going to try to go work at the local radio station. I might go start working at the soup kitchen. Maybe we start to live off ramen, you know? We start to, like, I won't be doing smart water anymore. You know, it's just, phew. Yeah. So, we'll be streaming, you know. OnlyFans, probably, maybe. Shit. So, yeah, we'll talk about all that. Okay, now let's get into the part of the show that all of you are really excited for. Rebel Moon. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Hez, how dare you? Over on Twitch. You think I don't see? You think I don't see over on Twitch? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's look at the actual 23%. Okay. Let's read some of these reviews. Okay, Tom Beasley says, oh, jeez. Okay, so he gives it a 2 out of 5. Damn! When it occasionally finds its groove, it's loads of fun. Unfortunately, there's far too much dead air and leaden meandering with a gaping void where all of the heart and humanity should be. Hot damn, no! No! Why do you have to put those syllables together and make those words for those sentences? No! Okay, let's cleanse the palate with a positive one. Shiraz says, Rebel Moon Part 1 is a solid sci-fi fantasy film in the director's trademark style. While some narrative arcs need fleshing out, it begs the question why the upcoming director's cut isn't the only version. Still, a strong intro for a universe to come. 3.5 out of 5. So, even within this positive review, you kind of get a sense of, like, this movie's not as good as it could be. Why didn't they just release the director's cut? Which is a fair take. And who knows? Maybe I'll be there as well. But that's not really good to hear either, man. Okay. Let's look at William here. William says, a hugely expensive but uninspired Star Wars knockoff with some thrilling action sequences and some truly ugly moments that taint the entire thing. What? I don't even really understand that. A hugely expensive but uninspired Star Wars knockoff with some thrilling action sequences and some truly ugly moments that taint the entire thing. Damn, so he's saying there's like just some really bad moments in it, huh? Whew, that's tough. Okay, Jason Best says, it is remarkable what a good job Snyder has done of making something fleshed out of dated movie tropes, how cleverly he pulls new rabbits out of the old hats, and he still manages to spring surprises that will knock viewers sideways. That's pretty positive. That's pretty nice. Unfortunately, we must get into a few more of these rotten ones here. Okay, so let's see here. Clarice says it's a film populated by some of the Justice League Snyder Cut filmmakers' worst impulses. A mess of imagery, some of it attempting to shock, congregated largely around the idea of what might look good in a trailer. See, to me, that one, this actually feels a little like too hatey. Like, this feels so outwardly hateful that, like, I can't even take it seriously. And like a 1 out of 5. Like, and the fact that she put Justice League Snyder Cut filmmaker, like, we're just going to take this one out of the pile. You're no good, Clarissa, and I don't know you personally, but the people around you said you stink. You're always late, and that dish that you always bring to the potlucks, nobody likes it. Owen says, Rebel Moon, while eminently watchable, is a movie built so entirely out of space parts that it may, in the end, be for only Snyder cultists, or Snyder cultists only. That one's probably, I mean, that's reasonable. That's reasonable, I guess. So the good news is that he's saying that we will all like it because we were all a part of the Snyder cult here. By the way, chat, look at this. 43% of people that voted on the poll said they already hate The Acolyte. And by the way, this is funny. This is humorous. But also, if you don't understand the truth of this poll, I mean, you're just not above ground, dude. You're not like actually looking around. You don't get what's happening. Okay, let's see here. Tori Blizzard says, with The Scavenger already reportedly wrapped filming and Rebel Moon 3 currently written by Snyder, we'll just have to hope that this disappointing first part is groundwork for bigger and better films in the franchise. That is reasonable. And again, it's crazy because, like, dude, I talked to some people that saw both of them and they were like, 2 is so good. And I was like, yeah, but what about 1? And they were like, yeah, 2 is so good. And I'm just like, oh. So, I don't know. I guess we're going to see. By the way, there are a lot of people that do like it, right? And we'll read more of the positives and everything like that. But there's a lot of people that really liked it. A lot of people online that are singing the movie's praises. It is a... I mean, look, it's a... At this point, you've got to say it's a divided... At least from the critics. The critics are divided on it. And maybe not even. Maybe critics just don't like it, you know? Like, you could probably make that argument. Oh, Grace Randolph says, more Zack Snyder's Dune than Star Wars. The filmmaker's opus isn't likely to win over new fans, but is a treat for those who appreciate his work. He's talking about she says the leads are real standouts. I do wish the 2-part movie craze would end. And that seems fair. That seems fair. Tessa Smith says, I'd rather have a 3-hour-long complete movie than a 2+ hour-long half of a movie. Very hard to judge without a conclusion. But I am a sucker for slow-motion action sequences. Me too. And there are a lot of them. That's great. Plus, Ed Skrein and Sofia Boutella eat up their scenes. That's good. Oh, that's good. Okay, Charles says, Snyder mistakes exposition for world building. The lugubriously lugubrious. This might be my new favorite word. Lugubrious. Lugubriously. I think that Charles is a lugubriously butthole. Delivered realms of backstory, removing the audience from the fantasy rather than immersing them in it. So wait a minute. Delivers the realm of backstory, removing the audience from the fantasy rather than immersing them in it. Okay, so he's saying too much exposition and the world building might be done through exposition. That's interesting. Let's load more. Hannah from IGN says Zack Snyder's space opera is let down by a derivative patchwork script, mediocre action sequences, and a superficial story. Whatever, Hannah. Christy says, there's something insidious about a bad movie that has a lot of bonker stuff in it. In the words of Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. I don't know what that means. That is a weird review, Christy. I mean, look, I'm all for, having a couple puffs here and there, but damn. Get the review done first. Holy shit. Tim says, nostalgia only takes the dreary space opera so far, and it lacks the incredible characters and riveting adventure that made George Lucas's blockbuster so resonant. Seems kind of fair. Only dreary space opera so far, and it lacks the incredible characters and the riveting adventure that George Lucas... Interesting, man. Maria says, Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, is a bit wobbly on its own 2 feet, but promises great things for Scavenger next year. This one's kind of painful to read, man. One of Snyder's worst efforts to date. No! Dull and derivative. No! With very little to warrant there even being a part 2, and therefore just an atrocious waste of time and money, says Edward Dingus. That's his actual name, so we can't make fun of his actual name being Dingus. Neil Smith says Snyder's passion project risks becoming subsumed by its own self-importance, but delivers bombastic mayhem and grandiose visuals by the bucket load. I like this. I like Neil Smith more than Robert Dingus or whatever his name was. So we'll just read a few more because there's only a few more positive ones. Chris says, undeniably derivative, more of the Magnificent 7/7 Samurai than Star Wars. Rebel Moon is nonetheless wildly entertainment and a very solid space opera. Interesting. Okay, and then Alstair Ryder says it doesn't work entirely, but there's a thrill to seeing a movie operating on this scale that hasn't been sanitized within an inch of its own life. That's kind of interesting. So I'll yeah, maybe we'll end on that one. What's the overall? Ooh, we're climbing. We're up to 26. Okay, so real talk, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just get this out of the way. Let's just be completely honest and open about this situation. This is damn near the worst case scenario for this part of the process, right? I obviously love Zack Snyder. I obviously really like his work. I was really excited about Rebel Moon. I've been going to bat for Rebel Moon. And real talk, this juncture where we're at right now with the Rotten Tomatoes scores, this is damn near worst case scenario. This seems awful. It has tarnished my excitement for the movie, and maybe we'll still watch the movie and I'll be like, dude, that was dope, and I'm super excited to see part 2. But yeah, this sucks, dude. It's not fun. Like, and I get it. Like, there's a lot of Zack Snyder fans, and I am one, but there's a lot of Zack Snyder fans out there that are like trying to pretend that this doesn't matter at all. I disagree. I think it's crazy how bad these reviews are. And I do want to see if some of it is true. You know what I mean? And it is possible that Zack Snyder made a shitty sci-fi movie. That is possible. Like, that's not outside of the realms of possibilities, right? So, I don't know. We're going to see. And either way, you're getting part 2. I think you're probably going to get part 3 either way as well. And maybe the second one will be so good that it kind of makes up for the first one. And you're going to be like, whoa. But I kind of agree with what the one homie said, right? Where he was like, why are you doing director's cuts when this one's not good? I think that's a fair question, dude. It's possible Josh will like it and say all of these people are wrong. Yeah, and I hope that happens. I hope that's where we're at. But I also think, like, we got to be where we're at with it. Do you guys remember the stream when we watched all the video reviews of the Marvels? Do you remember? We kind of had to take that medicine. It was funny. It was kind of sad. And we're getting, we were getting all crazy and stuff like that. But that's what it was, man. When you're at that juncture, and it's like this. Like, anybody that's decided they like a thing or they don't like a thing before they see it is a fool. That includes all of you that said you already hate Acolyte, by the way. I think you're foolish. And everybody that's decided they already love Rebel Moon is foolish unless they've seen it and they like it. Okay? And at the end of the day, like, it's going to come and it's going to go, and maybe it'll be absolute fire and it will actually catch on and be this big thing that I was hoping it would be, or maybe it won't be. And maybe it'll just suck, and maybe we'll be like, damn, that's tough. Why have you hyped it up so much then? Because I love Zack Snyder's stuff. See, like, the idea of hyping it up is not the same thing as deciding you like it already. You know what I mean? I love Zack's stuff. I love Star Wars. I love science fiction. I love all the Warhammer stuff that appears to be in Rebel Moon. So all of that stuff's dope, and I'm really, really excited about it. And also, too, I mean, when I make a video, right, that says Rebel Moon's going to take over Star Wars and Marvel, and here's why, it's intentionally salacious. Because to get attention and to make a good YouTube video, you have to draw in interest. Duh. So, yeah, of course, it's exaggerated, hyperbolic, it's extreme. It's all of those different things. But at the end of the day, man, like, it is absolutely possible that, like, Rebel Moon is going to let me down. And you know what? I'll take it one step further, and this might hurt. If you're a Snyder fan, this might hurt. But in some ways, Rebel Moon has already let me down, because it could have been a different story at this juncture. I don't think critical opinion is meaningless. I think it is a part of the experience, and it is a part of it is just a part of the conversation. You know what I mean? Could this be a Mario scenario? Absolutely. I don't know that it will be, though. So I'm a little bit worried. Okay, now let's shift in. That's all the stuff I wanted to talk about for today. And yeah, I'm bummed that Rebel Moon is not looking super hot out the gate. So I'm kind of bummed about that. But, you know, hey, it's all good. I mean, after everything that's happened in 2024, I think we could handle it. I think we could be mature about it. Yeah. Don't be bummed, bro. Well, I mean, look, I'm still going to get excited when we watch it. And I think either way, I will probably enjoy a lot of it, because it's kind of like what Grace said, right? Like, I like Zack's stuff. I will probably jive with it. I will be excited. But part of why I was rooting for Rebel Moon is because it's not fucking Disney, you know? And I really would love for another big franchise to take what I think is, you know, this kind of interest in this vacuum that has been created by, like, Disney Star Wars and Disney, you know, Marvel, and give us something new, something we can all galvanize around that's not Disney controlled, you know? And maybe it still can be that, but you don't become Star Wars if you're not a mass appeal 4-quadrant movie. Maybe it's just a dope Zack Snyder science fiction world, and just like Sucker Punch, I will just enjoy it. I will tell everybody that thinks it's horrible that they're crazy. I'll fight about it and say I love it and it's actually awesome, and here's all these reasons why. And maybe that's just what it is, and that's okay too. But I am looking for, and I was hoping, that Rebel Moon would become something big, you know, become something like really big and exciting for nerds. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see, but it does sting a little bit. It does sting a little bit. Okay, now let's get into Q&A. We're going to do some super chats, member chats, you know, that kind of stuff. I'll do a couple of call-ins, guys, and then I got to get on out of here. What are we looking at here on the stream? Yeah. We're good. Okay, so let's get into all of that, okay? First up, Benjamin in today, 7 months, says Rebel mid. God damn it. Jacob Money says, just my monthly reminder, Andrew Lincoln, Reed Richards, or bust. Yeah, I mean, you'd think they would have to announce, if they were really going to go shoot the Fantastic Four in January, then, yeah, you would think they would announce that cast by then, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Nate says, happy holidays, Nerd Vengers. Just your fantasy football playoff 1 seed. Checking in to say, I hope everyone has a very nerdy Christmas. Hashtag Deadpool 3 to save the MCU. Yeah, maybe, bro. Are you saying you're a part of the Nerd Vengers Fantasy League and you're number 1? Dang. GrizzlyCon says 28 months. Busiest day of the week at the post office, and I have a wedding to get to at 4 p.m. Nerd Vengers, lend me your strength. All right, let's give the homie all of our strength. Like everybody in the Dragon Ball movies, man. Give him the energy for the spirit bomb. And maybe you can just spirit bomb the wedding. That'd be kind of fun. Andreas says, happy effing Friday, nerds. Much love. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the 2 months of support. Matthew, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. Science says, Zack Snyder is going to be at my showing tonight for Rebel Moon. So damn hyped. Can't wait for this new franchise. Man. Look, I'm excited too. I hope you didn't get bummed that I basically said it's probably over and it's all crap and Zack delivered a big turd. So, look, I'm still excited, but it does kind of put a damper on things, man. And it does, you know what though? To be fair, it kind of takes us back to BVS times. Right? Because at that moment, Zack was getting shit on by a lot of critics. Even Watchmen got shit on by critics. And I think Watchmen is like one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. So it is still possible that this is like fire. And I would love it. I would love it if it was like excellent. And a lot of the fans just kind of galvanized around it. And it was still like this really big hit. But, I mean, the theatrical cut of BVS was bad, bro. Like, I know some of y'all defend that movie. That shit sucked. So I guess we'll see. Let's see here. Logan says with the 10 spot, Star Wars fan base in shambles, Marvel fan base losing loyalty, DC studio in question, fan split, Rebel Moon movie in shambles. The only happy fan base today is Dune, the next big sci-fi. Is that true? That's actually a cool, kind of a cool question. Okay, let me ask you guys something. What fan base do you think is the most happy fan base right now? Like, what fan base right now is the most happy? Harry Potter? I don't know. I mean, the game was huge, but the Johnny Depp thing and those movies have not really been performing well. TMNT, that's actually a good one. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans probably feeling great. I mean, they had a fire video game this year. That shit was dope. They've got that movie, which I still haven't seen. I've heard it's really good, though. The animated one. Last Ronin came out last year. Yeah, TMNT fans be feeling good, probably. Dungeons and Dragons fans with Baldur's Gate. Here's the problem with the Dungeons and Dragons fandom. The movie bombed, number one. Number two, Hasbro is the worst, bro. You know, you talk about Baldur's Gate 3, it's awesome. Almost all of the team at Larian, I believe, got laid off. They are just firing everybody over at Hasbro. Like, Hasbro is not having a good time. Gamers feeling good? Yeah, that's true. Gamers been feeling good. Bluey, LOS. Bluey has fans, and they are the best. Oh, God. One Piece? Dude, One Piece fans probably feeling pretty good. Yeah, I would agree with that. Roller Coaster Tycoon eating good? What? Yeah, 1,100 people got laid off from Hasbro. Yeah, it's crazy, huh? That just dropped with a high score? What did? The anime? One Piece? SpongeBob fans carrying the franchise? Godzilla? I would say, yeah, the Godzilla fans got to be feeling pretty good, right? I mean, I guess Godzilla -1 is like, everybody loves it. You got the pink Godzilla coming and everybody agrees it looks awesome. The Josh OnlyFans fans? Well, first of all, they don't exist. And second of all, I'm out of shape, bro. You know? Sheesh. I'm trying to get back into shape. Have I seen The Boy and the Huron yet? No, I have not. The Swifties, that's true, actually. The Swifties are probably I think you nailed it. I think the Swifties are the happiest fan base right now. DC animated fans? Really? Because of what? You mean The Last Ronin? Yeah. Denver Nuggets fans? I don't know sports ball, man. I don't know what that means. Sydney Sweeney and Margot Robbie fans? Those are not fandoms. That's not what I mean. Those aren't fandoms. There's no fucking lore to Sydney Sweeney. Attack on Titan? Den of Nerds fans? Yeah, I mean, I would say the Den of Nerds fans are probably feeling all right, but like, you know, we're a little bit divided too. And like, some people were really butthurt about my MCU video. So a lot of people were really mad. You know? We lost subscribers. Like, people were like, I hate that Josh said this, you know? Hey, man, there's a plot to Sydney Sweeney. Let's get it straight. What? What's the plot? But the video was all facts. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's all facts, but I would say I stand by the video. 100%. I mean, look, it is happening. And the numbers are going down. You know? And I know that's maybe an uncomfortable... you know what this week has been like for me? Not to go on like a total tangent, but this week has been one of those weeks where I really sit back and just see how divided people are. Okay? So like, as for instance... I would make the MCU video. I would chime in on a little bit what was going on with like Mark Miller and some of the comic book stuff, right? And people get like so mad, and they get like, oh, they're so mad. And then I would turn around and say that the movie that the Obamas produced is a great movie. And I just noticed like all these, it's like a roller coaster ride for some of y'all. And I totally see, and I totally get that like you got, like you're so culture war focused. You like presuppose and decide what you like and support based on all these arbitrary things that like I just don't give a shit about it at all. And this week, it really became noticeable that like just being a regular person that like likes different things doesn't basically, if you don't filter everything through the culture war lens, people have no idea what to do with you. Like they don't know, like the amount of people that can't accept that I think that movie's good. It's just like wild. It's wild. It's a wild time to be on the internet, to be an entertainer. And for me personally, it's wild to just be like, I don't even know if I would call myself like a regular person, but just deciding whether I like something based off of its own merit. As opposed to, oh, this person I didn't like is involved with it. There was a line said in the movie that obviously makes the whole rest of it irrelevant because of what that line means. It's like, bro, it's so fucking crazy. Like, y'all are just too much. Like, you're literally just all too much. I'm sorry, you are. You're all just too much, bro. So... It's been an interesting week for me to kind of just see that in reality and just understand it. And yeah, you guys are just too much. Okay, so CC Ryder says with a $20 holler, very generous, says, Merry Christmas, Josh. Thanks for the great year. Love this channel. Nerd Vengeance for life. Take my money. Unite. Also, let's hope Rebel Moon doesn't suck. Yeah, I hope so too, man. I hope it's really good. I would love nothing more than to be very excited about Rebel Moon and be like, you know what? All those critics were dead ass wrong and sing its praises. Yeah, we'll see. It doesn't look good right now. PJ says, love the content as always and got to catch the replay. But here's a Warhammer question for you. What do you think would happen, or what happened to the 2nd and the 11th Primarchs? So I think the 2nd Primarch is done, dead, eliminated. But I think the 11th Primarch is in the Black Cells underneath the Palace on Terra. And I think the Custodes have access to that Primarch. Yeah, man. And it's hard to say why, right? The speculation's crazy. I don't really know why. But yeah. Does the 2nd Primarch lead the Legion of the Damned? No, I think the 2nd Primarch was eliminated. I think because Russ is referred to as the Executioner, and he sort of talks about killing Primarchs. He talks about like Primarch on Primarch action, pause. And it's like all this stuff that kind of implies that Russ probably killed the 2nd Primarch. So, yeah. Okay. February 14th says, any fear that Sony will reboot Spider-Man for SSU? No, not necessarily fear, but yeah, I am kind of interested in how that would go down. I'm really confused as to what is exactly happening between Marvel and Sony, because there's like rumors that they want to like merge the universes. There's rumors that they want Tom Hardy to just be in the MCU after Secret Wars and stuff like that. And then with, again, this idea that Feige has all these plans for Tom Holland, it seems like there has to be some kind of an arrangement being made. You know what I mean? It seems like there has to be some kind of something's going on. I also, I haven't been talking about this too much or following it too closely, but there was a big lawsuit with the Steve Ditko estate. And Steve Ditko was suing Marvel to get the rights back to Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and a whole bunch of these other characters, right? And so some people speculate that a lot of the stuff that's happened over the past 10 years in comics is actually because they saw that lawsuit might happen. Yeah, I don't know if I completely agree with that, Trev, but I do think if you look at all of the new characters, and not only new characters, but you start to look at how they were changing the characters in the MCU and stuff like that, I think there's an argument to be made that Marvel was absolutely doing stuff to, in case, worst case scenario, in case they lost that lawsuit, they would be able to hold on to their stuff. I don't think Miles Morales was created because of copyright. You know what I mean? Especially because Miles is literally hanging out with Peter. Peter is in that story, and the Ultimates Peter dies right in front of Miles. So, this idea that Miles Morales was not connected to Spider-Man, I don't know. I don't know that I agree. But I get the logic there. For me, it's a little bit more I wonder if there was anything going on where even some of the MCU stuff and their sort of reluctance to just use good comic book stories, I wonder if that's connected to that lawsuit or anything like that. So, Miles wasn't present when Peter died. I'm pretty sure he was. And it was the goblin that killed Peter, the way I remember it. Yeah, Miles was there. Miles was in the crowd. That was the whole thing. Miles could have stepped in and stopped it. That was the movie? No. In the movie, it's not the Peter of that universe. It's a different Peter that he could have saved. In the comics, it was actual Peter. He was there. I remember I really liked the young Miles run. They aged up Miles and I didn't love it as much, but that original run with Pacelli and Bendis, I read the shit out of that. I really liked it. So yeah, I'm 99% sure he was there. Mate says, I hope Ant-Man is in the movie. I want them to have an oiled up bug off. Jokes aside, wouldn't mind it. Definitely want Daredevil, though. Yeah, no, oil him up, too, I guess. Eman says, I just checked on Rotten Tomatoes. Rebel Moon has a 23% right now. Well, where's it at right now, guys? Let's check it out. Where's it at? Are we in the 30s? Let me know if we get into the 30s. Star Wars Oddball says, you see the Rebel Moon ratings and reviews? Yeah, it's really depressing. Thanks for bringing it up. Vandolph the Black says, bro, Star Trek Strange New Worlds has hot babes, more male energy than anything Disney makes, and is running things. Funny how the worm turns. Is that true? Star Wars Strange New Worlds? It's got babes? Does it have babes? Babes? Wow. Okay, maybe I'll check it out. You know what show we've been kind of watching is Reacher. So we went through the first season of Reacher, and the first 3 episodes of season 2 dropped. So we watched a couple of those last night too. But yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of babes, man. I like babes. Maverick Pilgrim says, like a banana left in the lunchbox, culture war stink is on everything. It is. And it's like, on the one hand, it's like, yeah, you can complain about it and be like, oh, it sucks. And I do. I shouldn't do it. I should do it less. Because the reality is like, it is just the case that you're all just so ingrained in it. It's like all y'all do. It's all you do. It's all you think about. And it affects everything. So my thing is like, what I just said, right? I was like, okay, so I should probably not, because it's like kind of like an uncomfortable truth, and like a lot of you guys get triggered by it. I like legitimately should not bring it up as much and just kind of keep it moving. That is the same attitude that I think the studios should do. Like, it's one thing to think it's silly, and it is, but it's another thing to like realize that it is fact. Do you want to judge the audience, or do you want to understand the audience? Because one of those things happens when you're trying to serve the audience. The other one is just like a judgment thing. It doesn't really do anything, especially if you're working in commercial art. Like, you're making product for the people you're judging. But if you just understood them better, perhaps you could make product that they would enjoy better. At the end of the day, it's about the consumer's experience with the product, and you want that to just be like super positive. So that's why I say, like, and maybe this feels weird, but that's why I'm like, I think the culture war is really dumb, but also Marvel needs to realize that a lot of people really care, and they need to tone that shit back. They need to placate to that group 100%. Like, and how is that a difficult stance to understand? It's like, yeah, I don't really care that much, but a lot of motherfuckers do. So if they want success, they should probably keep that in mind. You know what I mean? Corso says, Merry Christmas to you, your family, and fellow nerd Avengers. Usually a part of the replay crew, but happy to catch live. Hopefully getting into that Diamond Lounge for some brews and some blinkers. Yeah, it seems like you got it, man. Hit me up on Discord. Hit one of the moderators up, and we'll get you in there. We will get you in there. Mariana says, culture war is so annoying. Also, it's sad that Theory is now associating himself with some of those grifting Filoni haters like Mauler. I don't know if I would describe... I personally would not describe Mauler as a grifter. I think that he's definitely been audience captured, but that's not necessarily the same thing. And to me, like, I like Mauler's stuff. I obviously don't watch all of his stuff, but I like Mauler's stuff. Is it true that Theory is going to get Mauler to actually watch like Tales of the Jedi and finish Clone Wars? Is that actually true? Because I got to tell you, that's kind of brilliant. Like, as much as, look, I respect how you feel about it, Mariana. But I gotta say, not only just from a content perspective, but from the perspective of the fandom, can you imagine how cool it would be if Mauler was like, you know what? I kind of get the Filoni thing now. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you ever will, and maybe that's not where it's headed. But to me, I think it's pretty interesting to take a guy like that and take a guy like Theory, who's this just like super fan, right? I mean, like, Theory's just like a fan first. He's not necessarily a critic, although he can be critical. right? And I actually think that if they put the Patara earrings on, or if they did the fusion dance, that could be pretty interesting. That could be interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, Mariana, I get where you're coming from. I just don't necessarily view those guys the same way, especially not Mauler. Like, to me, he's one of the good ones. To me, I would say he seems like one of the good ones. You know? So, I don't know. Sir Louis says, 8 months, baby. I enjoy being a nerd despite all the craziness going on. Unite, Rebel Moon hype, watch party, right? Best wishes to you and the fam. Oh yeah, I'm still doing the watch party, and I'm still excited for the movie. I mean, it's just, I gotta be real though. It's like I can't be one of those guys, and God bless you if you can. I can't be one of those guys that just looks at like an absolutely horrible Rotten Tomatoes score and just puts it all in the bucket of like, they're just haters. Like, I just can't be that guy, man. Like, this is not a good sign. This is not where I wanted to be as a fan. And I know maybe that upsets certain purists or whatever, but you know, for better or worse, and oftentimes it's for worse, I just got to be me, and I got to be honest. Got to keep it a buck. Got to keep it a stack. This is not good. So, hopefully it's great. Diamond Lounge tonight? No, we're going to do the Diamond Lounge next week. Tomorrow at 11, we are going to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. So, we're going to do Saturday morning cartoons tomorrow, although it's technically not a cartoon. And then we're going to do the Diamond Lounge next week. Next Friday, we'll do the Diamond Lounge. Dooley says, happy Friday, bro. 2 months away from being a member for 3 years. Thanks for all you do for us in the community. Have a great weekend. Nerd Vengers for life. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the love. Leon says, I mean, let's be honest. Dune 1 was a huge snore fest, but Part 2 seems to be on the right track and will do better. Rebel Moon, Part 2 better? That's cool. Yeah, for sure. And I still think a lot of people are going to watch Rebel Moon. I mean, this holiday season doesn't really have any movies, bro. Like, what's the movie this holidays? So I think Rebel Moon's still going to get a lot of play. And like I said, it is possible that second part comes in and kind of saves the franchise. There's a lot of stuff. Like, I'm excited for it either way, right? I hope it's not terrible. And I don't think it's going to be terrible, but a lot of people that I talked to were like, yeah, Part 2. And I'm like, wait, what? What about Part 1? Aquaman 2. Oh my God, you're right. Everyone at work is seeing Wonka. That's wild, because isn't it tracking at like 70 million worldwide opening? That's wild. Mr. JB says, how much did Netflix give him? You mean for the movie or like for him? Because I think the budget was like $180 for the 2 films. I don't know what they paid him, but they probably paid him a pretty big chunk. I don't know. Is that information out there at all? I don't even know. Nick and Brick says, oinky boinky? Nah. Dark Dragon says yogurt. Wait, what? What? Am I looking at the wrong chat? The Dark Knight says, I do feel it's getting more and more common for critic scores to be bad, but actual audiences enjoy the movie. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't think that actually bears out as much as you guys think. I don't think so. I think it's actually kind of rare. I think when it happens, it's interesting, and it happens at like a pretty high profile, level. But I would argue, if you really looked at it, like just name some of your favorite movies and just look at them on Rotten Tomatoes. I would bet the audience score and the critic score are probably very similar. Like, I feel like that's like a almost like a Mandela effect, where like it'll happen once or twice and like it just becomes fixated in your mind. I don't think that it happens a lot. I think most of the time critics and audiences on the same page. That's what I think. Godzilla, Fresh Towel says, Godzilla -1 is the movie of the year, in my opinion. It made me feel feelings. Like what? Terror? I want to see it. I've never been a huge Godzilla fan. I'm actually more interested in Godzilla X Kong and them fighting against aliens and crazy shit like that. And the Alien Kong or whatever. But, yeah. Wait, what? Comics Explained did a poll with 15K if you're going to watch Rebel Moon and it's 65-35 no? God damn it. I feel like you guys just don't want it to succeed. You're just doing this to hurt me. Andrew says, how's the Steelers fan base? Us brownies are living in the Flacco hype right now. We'll see how long it lasts. I have not been really connected to the Steelers fan base or their games this year. I think I watched a little bit of one game. So I couldn't tell you, man. I couldn't tell you. What is even their record? I don't think it's very good. Yeah, I don't think they're doing really good. Logan says, sorry for all the Dune propaganda. Not really, because that shit is goated. But will you be making any content on part 2 closer to its release? Even just a vid or two? It kind of depends, man. It kind of depends. It's not really something I would probably make a video on unless it's like really, really good. The problem with Dune, like, okay, so I cover Marvel and I cover Star Wars, right? And one of the big reasons I do that is because the fan bases for those like franchises are often looking for a place to hear about different updates, hear about different rumors or leaks or theories that are connected to them, right? And even despite all of the, you know, kind of downfall or whatever, Marvel is still way bigger than most things. Star Wars is still way bigger than most things. That's why you still have, you know, the channels that make a living off of hating on these things. They still hate on Star Wars and Marvel because they're so big. Like, the audience is so big. It's not like that for Dune. There are Dune channels that do well, but they're like lore channels or like, you know, breakdown channels. That's what they do. I do more news, leak, speculation, and theory. You know what I mean? Like, really, I think most of our stuff is just kind of news or rumor related. And you got to think about why that is, right? So, like, why is that? Well, like, first of all, we probably know most of what's going to be in the Dune movie because it's based on the books. Second of all, it's not like there's anything Dune coming out after this movie, like maybe one more part, right? I think is what you guys were telling me. And there's not like a whole, like, okay. With Marvel, any and everything could happen, and every movie and project potentially has a whole bunch of crazy stuff that we don't know about. It's not like that for Dune. So, like, even Spider-Man 4, like, holy shit, Ant-Man. Holy shit, Daredevil. Yo, if Punisher becomes a big part of it, that'll be news, right? If it doesn't end up being Ant-Man and it ends up being a different character, like Captain Marvel or something, that's big news. It's always in flux. There's always a possibility of more. It's like a true kind of like open garden, right? And the amount of content they put out is like crazy. And they also don't strictly adapt. So that also adds an element where you're like, okay, well, sure, you're doing Civil War, but we can expect it to be very different than Civil War. So let's take what we know from the comics, take what we know from Marvel, and kind of figure it out, right? So Dune just doesn't have any of that. Like, the only way to be, I think, a successful Dune channel is to be tapped into the group of people that are so into Dune that they're trying to watch videos about it. And like, those would have to be probably pretty specific videos. I don't even know what they are. Maybe they're like breaking down different aspects of the story, going like deep diving on things that happen in the novels that are left unresolved, you know, things like that. So it's just not to say that they're like, I could go make a Dune channel if I was just convinced that's what I wanted to do, or if somebody was like, I'll pay you this money if you go make a Dune channel, I could absolutely go and do it and figure it out. But what I can't do is figure out how to make Dune videos for my channel that has built up an entirely different fan base that offers a completely different value proposition. That doesn't work. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, unfortunately that's why you don't really cover that sort of stuff. That's part of why I was so excited for Rebel Moon, because I think Rebel Moon, as opposed to Dune, would have those kind of ideas, would have things that we didn't know about. You don't know what's going to be in the next one. You don't know what's going to be in the third one. You don't know what kind of deep dive lore thing, theory, speculation, this, that, second, and the third. The fact that they wanted to do TV shows and all these different things. Like, oh man, the best case scenario for me would have been Rebel Moon ascending to that place and me being able to justify making videos about it, you know? So, yeah, can't do it, unfortunately. Lou says, loved your video on the genres, suffering from low T. Seeing you admit the agenda BS is both sad and vindicating, as you are the least black-pilled. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not black-pilled, but I would say, and again, like, this is one of those things where it's like, that's another reason why I think it's important to make that video, is I haven't been making that content for years and years. That's not my fan base. That's not what I do. And I didn't even think that video would do particularly great, right? Because, like, again, a lot of people don't watch us for that. So I made that video more as like, yo, for those of you that are going to watch this, for those of you that watch my channel, which is usually people more optimistic, people more like, oh, I actually still like Marvel, I'm really, into it. I think it was important for those people to hear from me, yo, this is a problem. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the video. I thought it was good, and I think it gets its point across. And I think Marvel, like, here's the truth, man. Like, if Marvel, that is one of several things that Marvel needs to adjust for moving forward. And they either will or they won't. And I just wanted to, like, draw a line in the sand and be like, yo, I said this, then I'm on the record being like, yo, I think they need to man up. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes down. Okay, Bad HR guy says, hashtag take my money, hashtag 28% to ease the pain of Rebel Moon reviews. Hey, thanks, brother. Where are we at? 28? 28's not bad. Let's get into that 30. It still says 26 to me, guys. It still says 26 to me. Okay. I don't have a lot of time here. Where are we at? Okay, so I only have time for 2 call-ins. 2 call-ins, and we got to kind of keep them short. So I'm going to open up. Wait, what the hell? What the hell? Boom, there you go. Stage started on the Nerd Vengers only section of the Discord. So I got time for 2. Ah, shit. Kendall has raised his hand. What is this weird new setup here? What is happening here? Hang on. Okay, here we go. All right, so we got Kendall and Leon. So let's get Kendall on first. Let me pause this. Hello, sir.
Good day, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, bro. How are you doing? And also, let me check. Have we had anything on the Majors case?
I don't know, bro, and I don't really give a damn, dog,
Oh,
man.
no.
I'm ready for it to be over, bro. I'm ready for this shit to be over.
Yeah, same.
So, I mean, it's, it is what it is. I made my mind up. To me, he's innocent. It just seems like, not to say like he ain't done nothing wrong. It just seemed like a bad relationship type shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Just happened to happen out in public. Like, I guarantee you have the people in the MCU don't really have the best relationships either. So I mean, it's
yeah, for sure.
but I mean, that's also me just kind of boilerplate talking my way through that shit. So either way, but I mean, I'm doing good. I've been down with the flu for like the last week, but bouncing back. How you doing?
It's good to bounce back. I'm feeling good, man. I like it's been slow, the past couple of weeks in the news and everything like that. And I sometimes I get in these moods. It's so funny to me. I don't know exactly why this happens, but like, I feel like every once in a while I have to like pivot in a way to like, just, I don't know, like just kind of, I almost want to say like put people on notice, but it's not really that. It's almost like I can't just keep my head down and be thought of or presented in a way that's like on one side or the other. So I almost like feel this need to be like, yo, I feel like this and I feel like this. And I know it's honestly not even the best thing to do, and I think like it does kind of push some people away. But it also kind of just brings me this peace, and so I feel really good. There's a lot of like sort of questions out there, like we were saying earlier with like 2024 and all these different things, and it's a weird time and a tough time to be a fan. But generally, for like me, for the channel, for the community, for the family, like I feel good on all fronts, man. And I feel good.
It looks like you're hitting a stride, man. So I mean, I definitely loving what you've been putting out. So it feels like you're in the stride, even though Marvel and whatever is doing their own thing and Star Wars is dropping the ball. Yeah. Like you're not dropping the ball. So like as long as you're good, once they get back on, you're gonna be great. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. And I had this feeling too where, and I talked to a lot of my YouTuber friends like this, and one of the kind of big things that I'm on is I want to feel like in 5 years from now, I want to look back and say that I used YouTube, and I don't want to say I was used by YouTube, because a lot of my friends, man, they live very anxious lives. They are constantly thinking of what kind of content they could get out there to keep that machine going. And at the end of the day, like even if they're making good money, they're being used by Google. You know what I mean? Like they're on a like rat wheel or like a hamster wheel.
Like the Jonathan Majors people.
Well, yeah. I mean, like it's anybody and everybody that's chasing success and chasing that hit and chasing that algorithmic push or whatever. You're basically just like, you're just helping Google sell ads. You know what I mean? Exactly. So and I'm grateful for it. I get a nice commission, but I just am not like, I don't really care about really making these slow weeks have some content out there. I just don't care. And when it gets back, we'll get back. Loki had one of the biggest moments Marvel has had in a long time, and we had one of the biggest videos we've had in a long time, and it just kind of crystallized it for me, where I was like, yeah, well, if they get their shit together, like, we'll be here and we will make content that will service that same fan base, and it's all Gucci. But if they're shitting in our cereal, I'm not going to like continue to try to pick out the turds. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't care. So yeah, I feel good. I feel a little liberated, and the holidays is good. Family is good. And yeah.
That's what's good. Hey, I did want to pick your brain because you're talking about this fucking 24th, like the 2024 and like how like low this shit is.
Yeah.
I went back and rewatched some shit. So I went back and rewatched Civil War. And dude, it just gets me. The post-credit scene in Civil War is underestimated of what that did for Black Panther and like that franchise.
You talking about Bucky and the arm and everything, or?
Yeah, with Bucky and the arm, and like it kind of showing Wakanda out there and letting people know like you're going to see Black Panther and see the rest of Wakanda like in Black Panther coming up. Yeah. It kind of like brought back that feeling that I had back when I watched it. But I'm kind of baffled a little bit, like when I think about it, that we got the whole multiversal sandbox out there. If T'Challa was really going to be that big of a role in the Secret War saga, or in like Kevin Feige's plan to be like that pinnacle,
yeah,
like why isn't Feige like doing everything that he can to try to get his golden boy back, right? Like, why isn't he looking at, say, the Fantastic Four is going to be coming in through a multiverse? Have T'Challa come in too. Like, it's opportunities there for him to do that. And it's like, the more I look at it, like, they had the Wakanda show announced and everything like that. And I'm down with the Wakanda show, but it's just like, dude, how much smoke are you going to blow up your ass that, like, T'Challa was going to be this and that, but, like, you're not even fighting to give him back?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think, dude, it's also crazy with the whole Majors thing too, right? Because we were talking about earlier, he's in that situation and, they take Spider-Man away and then Chad passes. And then like he goes all in on Majors, like in the middle of that. And like, I think at some point it is like, you do have to just say that he has screwed up. You know what I mean? And like, at the end of the day, like Feige has absolutely screwed up over the past couple of years. Like, there's just no way around that, right? Like, even if it's just that he put the wrong people in charge, it's still on him. And man, like, I don't know. I was talking to some people. So I don't want to get too crazy down this road, right? But I was also told yesterday that there was a falling out between the Russos and Feige. Okay. Because I was like talking to some people and I was like, well, why don't they just bring the Russos back? Because like you said, bro, I think back to Civil War. I think back to Winter Soldier. I think back to Infinity War and Endgame. And it's like crazy, the disparity. It's crazy how different things are now, right? And like, even that, where like they had this falling out and I'm sitting there like, bro, figure it out. Like, how egotistical would you have to be like, oh, well, we're beefing. So now, even though I know they could work better within this system, even though I know they've done all of our best movies, I'm not going to work with these people, right? That's a big L. That's a huge mistake. Like, that's crazy to me, right? And when it comes to like T'Challa and everything, like, dude, I agree with you. And I think it's bananas, but we're starting to see, I guess the silver lining is we're starting to see that like, even he is understanding and investigating some of these things, right? So we're supposedly getting a new T'Challa post Secret Wars, right? And we're supposedly getting a new Iron Man post Secret Wars. Well, bro, he said before, Tony or RDJ is Iron Man. There would never be another Iron Man. You remember that? And he was like, nobody else could be Iron Man. And he was like up and down on that shit. But now we're just gonna reboot with a new Iron Man. So it is weird, man. And it kind of I was thinking about, not to be like all ADD or whatever, but I was thinking a little bit about the podcast I did with E-Man back in the day, right? When we were talking about recast T'Challa and that whole thing. E-Man obviously was a big part of that movement, and he investigated and talked to a lot of different people. He told me straight up, Disney was not interested in doing any of that because they saw the opportunity to elevate a female Black Panther. And I think at the end of the day, as much as some people get like upset about, what the video I made and maybe some of the things that we say, you guys have to understand that like, they were so lazy and derivative and didn't really think this shit through that they saw that as an opportunity to build Shuri, as opposed to like really thinking about, like you said, T'Challa was such a big deal that they were going to make him the face. So how can you go from thinking this dude's such a big deal, this character is such a big deal that we're going to make him the face, to then saying, oh, well, not only are we not going to recast, but now we're just going to build up his sister. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of flawed logic there, man. And I don't know. I think maybe at the end of the day, like I think Feige, honestly, bro, he needs to get checked. He needs checked because this dude thought Ralph Boner was hilarious. This dude thought that he could make Taskmaster a female with the personality of a battery. You know what I mean? Like this dude thought, a little battery, though. Yeah, for real. And like, it's crazy. And then like you look at all these things, and it's just like, well, at what point are we gonna start to say, like, this dude's not making good decisions? You know what I mean? So I still have faith and I still hope that Feige can turn it around. But like, if he doesn't, and in the next couple of years fumble, it will be one of the weirdest things in the world, because you're talking about a guy that was on the trajectory to be the greatest producer of all time, take over Disney, be like a staple in that company, be up on the fucking walls when you walk into institutions, right? And going from that to dropping the bag, fumbling the bag in the most impressive way that we've ever seen, that's crazy. So I don't know, bro. I'm like 50-50 on Feige right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, I honestly do. Like, T'Challa's the key, bro. Like, if they just came out and casted T'Challa, even if it's an aged up, like, even if they came out and casted an aged up T'Challa Jr., right? Even if they did that, like, give us a T'Challa back, and you don't even have to just bring him out San Diego Comic-Con. Like, that's hype. Yeah. Like, it's there. We're back for it. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna let you go, man. One other thing, Shakuti Awuji. I went back and rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Dude, I don't know what they're going to do with Jonathan Majors, but it's a shame that Shakuti Awuji won't be up for being his replacement.
Yeah.
Because I went back and watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and goddamn.
Yeah, that dude's impressive, man.
And also, shout out to Nico. Nico think about calling in today. I don't know. I feel like I haven't called in like a few months.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nico, just get off my dick. But anyway, thank you, John.
Yep, no problem. See you later. Yeah, much love, brother. Much love, guys. We don't have anybody else in here for the call-ins. Did everybody leave the tower already? Is Adam in here? Should I bring Adam on, guys? Adam, everybody's so mad at me they didn't come into the thing, or maybe it's because I said I was just doing two. But what's up, man?
Maybe they just didn't want to talk about Rebel Moon. You never know.
Why not? Do you want to talk about Rebel Moon?
No, I mean we can. Sure, we can talk about Rebel Moon.
This you will 100% believe this, but I just got so frustrated with what you said. You know, I stomped my foot. I must have disconnected something on my one monitor because it just went out. So here we go, baby. All right. So yeah, what do you want to talk about? What's on your mind?
I'm actually very excited for it, despite the terrible reviews. Even the good reviews are bad reviews. It's kind of sad. Yeah. It's very sad.
Yeah, it is kind of sad. Why are you excited though?
I like Zack Snyder. I would say I don't love all of his movies. I love 300. That's probably my favorite movie still of his.
Yeah.
And I really like a lot of his movies. I didn't hate BVS theatrical, but I didn't love it either. Director's cut is way better, obviously. And I like Justice League. I totally would have been fine if Zack Snyder stayed and continued and finished his stuff.
Yeah.
But
well, especially in hindsight, right? You look back at what happened after that and you're like, maybe they should have just stuck that out. But yeah. No, I'm excited for it too. Yeah. I mean, it does hurt a little bit. I mean, some of those were pretty brutal. And I think on top of that, like for me, it's a little bit like, the Brazil thing. And then some of the people I talked to, I was like, oh no. So I was kind of getting an impression here that maybe the real winner is part 2. But maybe it'll be okay. I mean, it's a low barrier to entry, so it's it's Netflix, so
it's right. I was gonna say that low barrier. It's streaming, which I don't understand why. Why is there a director's cut for a streaming movie? Like, why isn't that just the movie?
Yeah, I don't really get it either. Maybe I think he wanted something a little bit more accessible, maybe for young people, because I think he's gonna go harder on the gore and stuff like that. Yeah,
but it kind of sounds like from some of the reviews that it was story driven elements are cut out. So
I'm not really so sure about that. I mean, we're gonna have to see, and we'll have to see what it actually is, and then we'll have to see what part 2 is, because I've heard that there's more lore in the director's cut, but I don't know if that's the same thing as story. You know what I mean? So
I don't. It literally is the same thing.
No, not necessarily. So, like, I guess if the lore is more like just the fabric of the kingdom and like the planets and like shit like that, I guess for me, I would say the story is a little bit more of like what is going on with these actual characters and how do they know each other? What's their history? Like, I would say that
is the history. Lore is history. That's sort of my point. Lore, maybe the context of everything.
Yeah,
Like the Warhammer stuff. This is the Warhammer stuff you're looking for out of this movie. And it would suck if there's a version of it that for some reason didn't have that stuff in it, or they cut back because they thought it was too boring for people on a first watch. I don't know.
I think they're slightly different, but I do think there could be a connection, especially in this story where it seems like a lot of the main characters were connected to like deep lore stuff. So yeah, I mean, it definitely could be the case. But like when it comes to Warhammer, a particular story is not necessarily pulling on, all this crazy lore, right? So it's like especially because it's so varied and dense. If you're following like some space wolves on some kind of a mission, it doesn't necessarily matter about the Blood Angels, you know what I mean, and stuff like that.
Sure.
So you know all that good Warhammer lore, but yeah.
Cool. 2024 is going to be a disaster.
You agree with me that it's going to be a disaster?
Oh yes, 100% for everybody. It's going to be terrible.
So too.
Nobody's
sucks.
going to the movies anymore. Everyone, like you had talked about this early on, and you were actually very strong proponent for people never going to the movies ever again during the pandemic, and just watching everything at home. It got there eventually in a different fashion, but it got there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think about that sometimes, man, because, at the time, and I think a lot of the stuff I was saying was probably true, where I was like, well, audience behavior and the consumer behavior, like once you change that, like you can't really put that genie back in the bottle. What was interesting though, and I didn't really anticipate, was how much Hollywood pulled together, especially in those early days. Like, do you remember? Like they were just like, they were so like really trying to convince and using every part of that propaganda apparatus to try to preserve that experience. And to a degree, it worked. Like I do think there were some big movies. I mean, you've got Maverick, you've got Spider-Man No Way Home, you've got some big movies. Even MOM is like big compared to a lot of what we saw this year, right?
Sure.
But
they're very specific though, man. Like those movies that you named that crushed it have now become like cultural zeitgeist events.
Yeah.
And that's what are drawing people to the movies. Like Spielberg at one point predicted that it would be almost like going to Broadway, like going to see a show, that the cost would be so expensive and that it's more going to be like a giant event. So I think we're starting to see that there's a certain type of movie, I'm not just talking comic book movie, but a certain event type movie, people will go out and pay. I'm not even kidding, man. It's so expensive to go to movies. Every time I go to the movies, even with an AMC A-list, if it's a family movie and we're taking 4 people, that's like $60 easy.
That's a low end, probably, to be honest. I mean,
$60 not including tickets, right? Like you can spend $60 on concessions, just like popcorn and soda, which is like $15.
Yeah. No, that's true. And there was an article that dropped. I mean, you probably saw it. I think it was in the Hollywood Reporter. They just dropped something, I think it was earlier this morning or maybe late last night, about how bad next year is going to be. And they kind of blame it on the strikes, right? And they're like, oh, the strikes are going to have this lasting thing. And I'm like, I don't really think it's the strikes, man. Like, I just think people, they're not offering. I think the Taylor Swift thing was really interesting, right? That she was able to sort of utilize that venue and create kind of a different thing. It was like an experience, right? People, you saw the Swifties like dancing in the theaters and like having all this fun and all that.
Sure.
And I just don't think that Hollywood has really tapped into, creating that experience or doing something that's truly worth that money, that travel, the time invested, because it's also like, it's like 25 minutes for us to get to the theater. So that's like a 40-minute drive. It essentially adds like another hour of your day being taken away to do this thing. And on top of that, the experience is not that great. You've got kids, you got people talking, the light bulbs aren't even bright, the food's not that great. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, man, it's going to be weird. I think next year's going to be weird, dude.
Because like, what are you looking forward to? honestly, can you like? I have a list in front of me. What is your most anticipated movie?
I mean, it's
next year?
Deadpool. It's Deadpool, 100%. It would be like Deadpool and then Venom, maybe.
Is Venom coming out next year?
I think it's supposed to drop late next year. Yeah, they've already been shooting. They probably had to stop during the
November.
strikes,
That
but-
comes out November.
November. Yeah.
So that's 2 movies, man. That's not good.
No, of course it's not good, bro. And like the other thing too
Like,
is
maybe
like,
Godzilla will do good. Maybe
yeah, Godzilla could do good. I think there's a couple movies that could do good next
Kingdom
year.
of the Planet of the Apes.
Dune
but like,
could
are
do
these
well.
movies that? Well, Despicable Me will do numbers, but that's cartoons. I know you guys don't like talking about cartoons.
I love cartoons. Yeah, no, dude, it looks rough, and I think the other side of this too is like it's a little bit of like fandom fatigue, where
Oh, sure.
you're supposed to get into and be, talking about and like invested in all of these different things, and they're all supposed to have this big draw and everything. And I don't know. It's a weird time, man. I kind of think 2024 is going to be a really weird year. I think people are looking for new. I think there's a lot of fatigue out there. Now, on the plus side, it is possible that like economically some things kind of turn around for people, but even that's kind of like a coin flip to me, because if like, not to get totally lost in the weeds, but if the Fed starts cutting interest rates again, that could be good, but it could be good in the short term, and then we could be in like a recession. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I hope that it turns around. If they can have if Marvel has a really strong San Diego Comic-Con, I think it'll sustain the fans into 2025. And I think 2025 could be a big turnaround point for Disney just in general. Because I think like, look, you and I both know, I mean, Disney is in the worst spot it's ever been in, period. And they have to be able to turn this around. And I don't think it's going to happen next year, but I do think moving forward, if they put the right things together, they could sort of, I guess, almost wait out, a few bad performers. And if it's just steady goodness for a long time, they will build that back up. Like in 2019, they had like what, $8 or $9 billion movies. But that's also on top of years of Marvel delivering goods, years of Pixar delivering goods, years of Star Wars delivering at least accessible things. So, yeah, I think that they could maybe potentially start to turn it around in 2025. The question, though, is how does entertainment change in 2024? Because if they have a bad year and people disengage and there's something else that is offered, whether that's through anime, manga, independent stuff, A24 stuff, AI-driven stuff, I'm not sure what it is, but I think certain industries are already getting their lunch eaten by some of this digital stuff.
I think gaming is I mean, obviously we both know gaming is massive, and it's always been massive, but I think in the next year, I think 2024 is the year that gaming really propels itself as the clear winner.
Yeah.
Because they went through 2022 and 2023 of studio after studio not delivering, and going through the VFX or the workers rights and going through all the stuff that movies are going through now.
Yeah.
Gaming is coming on the other side. I think the last Game Awards was the best Game Awards in a while. I know a lot of people complained about it, and I'm not going to argue about their complaints. I can see it from their side, but I really enjoyed it for the first time in a long time. And I think there's a lot on the horizon on that level for people. And that's, again, a home thing. So, I mean, movies will be fine. Movies will always be here. I think Marvel will be fine too. I think they got to go through their struggles. And you know what? Let it crash to the ground, because all that means is that it's going to come back. They're not going anywhere. It is a legit genre, like any other genre there is. Could you say maybe it's going to go away, sort of like the Western, like that's always the quote people say.
Right.
Sure, but they still make dope Westerns. You just have to be a fan and you watch it.
Yep.
And
no, I agree with you. I also agree with you about the video game awards. It's interesting because a lot of, I think, sort of vets in that space really came down hard on it. But I think you and I come from a little bit of a different perspective where we're thinking more in terms of like media accessibility. And to me, that was the most accessible video game awards ever. Like you don't have to know shit about video games to have appreciated and been entertained by that thing. And it also did a great job of kind of guiding your hand through what you should be excited about, what is cool. And that happened with Feige. Like Feige kind of did that, where he took the normies' hands and led them to, you know, becoming a little bit more sweaty. So yeah, no, I agree with you, man. I think things are in transition, and it's also a time where just technology and the human experience seems to be changing so much, and it's almost like at this accelerated state of like, I'm not even sure what it'll be like by the time the next election happens, like, bro, like who knows? Like it's just, things could be so different than what they are right now. But I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. And
yeah, man,
I think one of the things that's kind of cool for me is like, right at this time, I'm like developing IP myself, right? So, you know, Unity, and I'm thinking about going back to Moros, and, you know, I've got this like Batman idea that I might wrap into something else. And I just think, especially because that technology is sort of democratizing the creator's ability to make awesome shit. Maybe that's what it is.
Yes, and you're also in a unique position too, because there was a transition in 2020 in the pandemic where people, that was the time to capture when you were going to get bigger, and everyone, you know, in the space is reaping that reward right now because it's transitioning to not necessarily the platform you're on, but it's more the personal brand. So I'm pretty certain that no matter what you do or what you discuss, you know, people are there for Josh Lucas, not just, you know, for the Marvel stuff there, because you've done that to this point. So yeah, no, and I think like it is still cool. Like I guess part of it is for me is like I want this shit because like it's awesome, like to be a fan of this stuff and to have gone through the experiences like with the community, and I would love to continue that. I think we will continue it, but like you said, for sure,
as it kind of transitions, for me, it's like, well, I don't want to just be beholden to the success or failings of like Disney or Marvel or Star Wars, right? So there has to be a way to do what I do, but also kind of establish new ways for me to, you know, engage and create, you know, consumer experiences. And for me, it's like the comics and the storytelling. Like, I don't know what weird alchemy or what weird circumstances brought me to this exact spot, but to have the work that we have and have the experience that I have, to be able to put it together and still have the attention via the channels and things of like that, it's crazy. So it's like, I feel really good about it, and I think Unity's going to pop off. And Unity doesn't have to become Marvel. It could, but it doesn't have to. It could become just a popular indie thing that I just happen to extract more value out of, right? So I don't necessarily even need it to be as big as Marvel. And maybe the future of fandom isn't that everything's as big as Marvel. Maybe it's like 4 or 5 things that you like, that you fuck with at like a smaller scale of like interaction and stuff with other people. Like maybe that's what it'll just kind of become, because that's kind of what movies are now. It's like people are still going to the movies. It's all just much smaller groups of people that are supporting each individual project, right? So yeah, bro, it's fucking weird, Adam. It's a weird time. I feel weird good, time, but I also feel weird, you know?
All right, let me end on this, and then I'll bounce.
Okay.
Give us some insider info on Unity. Give us something new that we haven't heard yet.
Okay, so I will say that so there's a number of things that we're working on with not only the first chapter, which is almost done. In fact, I'll check my group chat with the homies real quick here. But that is almost done. We should have that out to everybody within the next couple of weeks. So I'm super excited about that. Oh, that's really cool. I'll have to look at that later. But here's the thing that I think is interesting about Unity that I'll say. The first chapter is designed in a way that you will have this big lingering question. Oh, there goes my battery. You'll have this big lingering question. And the question is, why did he do it? And it just so happens that we've built it in such a way that I think the first chapter is a brilliant entry into the world, but it leaves you with this like splinter in your brain kind of a question that you will need to know the answer of. And it's just dope because we'll be able to sort of promote and push the actual full graphic novel with that question in mind, because we're going to try to get as many people as we possibly can to read those first 40 pages and then want to read the rest for the graphic novel. So I think that question and the sort of twist at the end of the first chapter is going to really be dope. So that's probably the thing that I would share and what I'm most excited for.
Have a good holiday.
You too, brother. Take care, man.
Talk soon.
All right, guys. So let's do a thing here. I'll do this crazy image of Midas while we finish up these Q&As, these last couple of questions, and then we'll get on out of here. Okay. All right. Okay. So I know it's not your job to cover, but don't eat the shit sandwich. Have you or anyone else seen Blue-Eyed Samurai? Yeah, dude. We like Blue-Eyed Samurai. We watched like a couple episodes. And I like it a lot. The combat, the editing, and the fighting style is fantastic. So yeah, I like Blue-Eyed Samurai. I want to finish it, and I'm pumped that it has a second season. So that's cool. Leon says, sorry, something came up and I had to leave. Hey, it's all good, brother. It's all good. Much love. Space Tricks Serial TM says, rip a blinker and think of me today. Hell, rip two. All right, bro. Hey, look, I might just do that. Don't threaten me with a good time. Claytonium says, I'm worried about Deadpool 3. I love cameos as much as the next guy, but there's a limit. At this point, Deadpool feels like a cameo in an X-Men movie. I understand that concern. I think it's a fair concern, bro. But trust me, I think at the heart of the movie, it's really about Deadpool and Wolverine. So yeah, I think they have something really special there. They've been developing it for a long time. So we can hope that it's increíble. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out today. Thanks for chilling in the stream. Where are we at with Rebel Moon? Where are we at? What's the percentage, chat? You tell me. Was it? Where are we at? Are we in the 30s? Are we in the 30s? Are we in the 30s? Oh no. I don't think we are. Damn. Okay. All right, everybody. Much love. Appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time, your attention. Thank you for the support, the likes, the subscribes, the member chats. Just chatting in general helps us out, so I appreciate it. Much love. I'll see some of you guys tomorrow at 11 so we can watch the holiday special. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. everybody gone? Ahsoka is a gilf now. What the hell? What the hell does that even mean? Oh, I'm still in the... Nice. I was still on that one screen. Yeah. Yeah, man. Don't let them bring you down, you know? A nerd coin drop? Let me see real quick. If I have it pulled up, I can do that easily. Hey, I do. I will drop some coinage to you beautiful people. Boom. There you go. 10K. But I'm going to get out of here so you can't use it to gamble. All right, everybody. Much love. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for being here. Hey, yea, though we walk through the valley of the shadow of nerdy things, I shall fear no evil, for the Nerdvengers are with me. Make sure you open up that third eye. And make sure you wash out your stinky butt hole.